The Digital Hoarders episode 15. Great to be here with you. I like the fact that Doc normally leads the charge, because then by the time I've said the first word, people know when he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Doc's not here again. He's sick.
This is his bi-weekly. I don't feel like doing the show.
He hates us. So do hit him up on Twitter. Tell him all about how much you miss him and how awful the show is without him, or how much better it is without him. We do have a special guest with us here this week, though. We've got Kratos. Introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are, where you come from.
Yo.
I don't know, any other cool stuff?
Hey, everybody. It's your boy, J-Dub, a.k.a. Kratos, the god of PlayStation and all things gaming. It's a wonderful feeling to be here on the podcast with you guys. I'm always chopping it up with you on Twitter. I'm ready for PSX. I've been playing a ton of games. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about a bunch of them.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. And you are on another podcast from time to time, I hear.
Yes, I am. I'm everywhere, man. I'll join PlayStation Bros podcast a lot, so you guys can definitely catch me on that show. Generally, we do it on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays at the latest. And I'm just featured on various podcasts. So you guys just look out for me. You can find me on Twitter at JW16. And I'm always trying to keep you guys laughing with the memes and the gifs. So.
No, it's great to have you on. I know that you do PlayStation Bros a lot, and I just want you to know, none of that fanboy shit over here. I'm just kidding. That's a great show. However, this show's not going to go 15 hours.
Yeah, we're not. I was giving Bra shit before this. I said whenever he does an episode of our show, it won't last 3.5 hours like every episode of his show does. So
I don't know how you guys have the time.
Seriously,
I hear you.
Well, I guess we just do extra shows.
Well, I'm going to miss Doc. I hope he gets better. I'm under the weather right now myself, and we're always on Twitter going back and forth with each other.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's a really cool guy. So yeah,
we'll have you on again when he's back and healthy and wants to hang out with us.
When he likes us again, Alden and I'll just sit back and you two can just talk shit to each other and we'll just laugh. So
we'll eat popcorn.
Of course.
So what have you been playing, Jay?
Oh man, I've been playing on my Switch. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Skyrim for the Switch, and Resident Evil Revelation. So, and that's just my Switch. Now I've been playing Skyrim as well on the PlayStation VR, and of course Assassin's Creed and Gears 4 on the X.
How are you liking Skyrim on the VR? I haven't played it yet. It's I believe it's on its way to me as a Christmas gift. So how do you like it?
Well, I had the unfortunate something unfortunate that I did. I ended up live streaming before I learned the controls, before I figured out. I just literally took the wrap off the game, popped it in, and started streaming before I figured it out, and it was just a mess. So about 5 minutes in, I said, "Sorry guys, let me figure out how this freaking crap works, and then I'll start it." So it took me 5 minutes to learn out the controls and to change some items, and then from there, man, I had my shield in one hand and my sword in another one, and I was a beast. I love that game.
Do you use the move controllers when you play?
I do. Now, obviously, you can use your regular DualShock, but the game is meant to be played, and it's any VR title is supposed to take you out of your real life element and put you in the game. So that's what that does.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to get to it. As soon as the Best Buy man shows up at my doorstep, I will play it.
The Best Buy man? They send Best Buy employees here.
Yes, don't they?
Here's your game, Mr. Bear.
How does this work? I've never dealt with the common.
Yeah. Swear, man.
Brandon, what have you been playing?
Not a whole lot, actually. I sit here and I talk on the show about how, with Logan just being born, having all this time, and I don't do anything with it. Like, I'm just kind of chilling, to be honest with you. I was still dabbling with Rise. See, that's a good thing about something like Rise, Son of Rome, or like The Order, where everybody bitches. They're like, it's 6 hours long. For me, I can stretch that shit out over weeks because I don't really sit down for long chunks at a time. I will say that the more and more I get into Rise, I still like the game. I think it is a fun game, but I do kind of feel like, and maybe something's going to change, but it honestly feels just like, I mean, the exact same thing. They just sort of changed the skin on some of the warriors. There's a story there, and I like the story, but I think the thing about the story is it's a very cliche Roman story. It's avenge his family. How did he rise? Blah, blah, blah.
Ooh, that's where they get the name from.
I know, they're so smart. But I'm not really sure, like, you know, Jay, have you played, I'm sure you've played Rise.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in the 4th or 5th chapter right now. I just started fighting those dudes in the woods where you're not actually fighting Roman soldiers anymore. You're fighting the guys with the like skull masks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know exactly what
so I was like, all right, this looks pretty cool. This is going to take a whole new turn. And maybe it will story-wise, but combat-wise, it's I'm guessing it's probably just going to stay the same because it's a hack and slash. So like I said on last week's episode, hack and slashes don't really reinvent the genre. It's just hack and slash. And I like hack and slash games, but so I don't know. I think I'm like 62% of the way through the whole game.
That's a very
somewhere in there.
Number.
Well, it actually shows you.
Okay.
The one thing, not the one thing, that sounds awful. One thing I will give Xbox that I absolutely love is the achievement tracker.
Yeah.
So like as you're doing it, there's constantly a way to look and see, all right, I have this many headshots. I have this many. I think that's awesome. I would love to see PlayStation implement that with trophies.
Yeah.
Because something like every single Uncharted game, there's always a headshot trophy and kill everybody with this weapon and this weapon. And you can go to it and find it in the menu and all that, but I like that it's all just built into the ecosystem.
Not always either, though. There's plenty of games where it's got like a get 50 headshots with this gun, and you're just like, I can't like. I feel like I got 50. I feel like I got 300.
Yeah, clearly not. No, I like that. I'd love to see that implemented into the PS4. I'm trying to think if I've touched anything else. I've sat there and watched my wife Mary play Sims 4 for what feels like an eternity, nice. Which could have been 20 minutes because the Sims feels like an eternity to me. But she's loving it. So she was playing it at first. And she's like, okay, what's the cheat code for unlimited? And I'm like, hold up. And I Google and I'm like, that's going to disable the trophies.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, babe, I need these trophies. And she was playing it. And you could see there's the dread in her eyes. She wasn't having fun. I'm like, screw it, babe. Put in the cheat code. Go nuts. And now she's just like a little kid, just giant smile. And like, look at the house I built. It took 12 hours to build. And she's having fun. That sounds really just like it.
Your wife Mary impression.
Hi, Mary. But it's... So she's having fun with that. Recently was lucky enough to, recently as in yesterday, get my hands on a Switch. But I haven't played it yet. I set it up, and I got my friend code, and I didn't play it.
So how many games have you played versus how many games you've bought?
Yeah, it's not even close. I've played Rise and watched her play Sims, and I'm not bullshitting you, and I don't think I've played anything else. But on the Switch, the first game I'm jumping into is Odyssey. Is Mario Odyssey. I have Mario Odyssey. I have Breath of the Wild, Snipper Clips, which looks fantastic, which I've heard is really fun, and Cave Story Plus. And then there is a little store here in Virginia, plug, called Starland that has a website online that you can trade shit in. They have amazing trade-in values, way better than GameStop and Best Buy. But even if you don't live in Virginia, like Jay lives, where? Texas?
Texas, yeah.
Yeah. So you can still ship all their stuff to them. You tell them what it is. They give you the credit right then and there. You can actually use that credit to buy something before you even ship it in. But once it's shipped off. But if they get it and then they say, it's missing this or this, they'll take the card that you put on file and charge the rest, which I think is smart. But anywho, I traded in a bunch of stuff and got like $200 in credit, and I bought a Retron 3, which is the NES, the SNES, and the Genesis, and then I just stocked up a bunch of games to play on that. So I'm really excited to jump into that. So yeah, the amount of games compared to games I've played, games I bought to games I played are not close right now. On the agenda for tonight is to jump into Odyssey. We'll see. All I know is my wife Mary and I finished a TV show. That's about all we've accomplished. We finally got caught up on Ash versus Evil Dead season 2, which is a great show. And what have you been playing? You've been busy. You've probably played something.
I don't know how you got 10 minutes of content out of not playing any games.
Because I like to talk.
You love talking. It's good though. I've been playing things. Yes. Shoot, what have I been playing? Oh well, I finished Wolfenstein 2.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
Great game, right?
Yeah, it's an amazing game. I wish there was a way to talk about it without giving too much away because, man, that game is it's really fun and it's just like balls to the wall. Like there's constantly crazy stuff happening and it's crazy like an action movie, but it's also like heartfelt. A lot of it is. So you care about the things that are happening. It's not just like boom, 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 boom. It's like, well, that's why this is like this. And so it explains the craziness.
Okay.
And that's important to me. I like to be able to follow the story and care about the characters. But it's an amazing game.
That's all I've heard.
It's crazy what kind of year we've had, and we'll talk about it later when we talk about the Game Awards. But the number of games that have come out that any other year would have been like, that's game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I just wonder, like, is this how it's going to be every year from now on? Like, have we just reached a point where making a game is understood well enough that and the technology is good enough that we can just go through now and make these games on a regular schedule? Because it doesn't feel like we've ever had a year like this before, where there's just been probably a dozen games that could be on a top 5 list.
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. Well, just keep in mind, this is the 4th year. We're working on year 5 of this generation. And generally, every generation, the first 2 years is a bunch of remasters. It's slow. Stuff ramps up around the 3rd year. The 4th year, everyone caught their stride. And they're just gunning for it. And maybe at the end of next year, they're going to be winding down and prepping for the next generation. So we're in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
2017 has been amazing. Games after games after games from January all the way to December, and it's nonstop.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really been a month that didn't have something just amazing and iconic come out. Like it's just been unreal.
Like in January, they hit you right out of the gate with Yakuza. Yakuza was January, right?
Yeah,
Yakuza and
RE7.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, RE7, and then while it's hit or miss from a lot of people, Gravity Rush 2. Like people enjoyed Gravity Rush 2.
And Neo.
Was Neo January?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, right. And then in February,
Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, you're right.
Yeah.
That little game you kind of like came out in February. What's that called?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah, that. And then you've got Nier. Was that February as well? They were all.
Nier, I think, was March.
Was it?
I don't remember. It might have been February.
Good God.
Yeah. And then Zelda in March.
Yeah, the Switch in March.
Persona 5.
Yeah. Yep. MLB, which is always great.
MLB.
Whew. And then next year, just looking at what's on the horizon, it doesn't seem like next year is going to let up at all either. There's so much stuff that none of us know about yet too. There's sneaky shit coming out, but even if you just look at as of right now, the show's kind of been taken over by PlayStation fanboys. So if you just look at what PlayStation has primed for presumably 2018 is what? God of War and Detroit and Days Gone, all these, and then obviously MLB's still there, and you've got Shadow of the Colossus remaster. There's so much coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Shortage next year too, so I'm okay with this. And then Xbox is going to get the one thing that I want to see them do is hit that stride where we can talk about all these games that have come out, and on Microsoft's side, it's not as many. There is Cuphead, which is fantastic. Halo Wars 2 didn't move the needle at all. Yeah, those things didn't move the needle, but next year, hopefully you're looking at Crackdown, and you're looking at
Crackdown, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
State of Decay. I mean,
which looks amazing. Yes.
Was great.
Yeah.
But it seems like, and I know we've talked about it before, but it seems like Xbox is doing the right things behind the scenes right now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, unfortunately, in the world of games, it takes years for you to do things right before these games actually come out and really start to hit. So hopefully next year is the beginning of a good streak of games for them. Some new IP. They need some new fresh IP so bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully next year.
Well, we know we're going to get another Forza Horizon,
of course, and that'll be great.
And we'll get more Halos. We'll get more Gears of War, whatever.
But I want to see, and we talked about this on the last episode, I just want to see them not give up on their original IPs like their, well, yes, these titles didn't sell well, but what I like to see is I want to see them just give it another shot. Like we talked about with Knack. Knack didn't do all that well, but they were like, no, there's something there. Let's make Knack 2. But you look at Rise and Sunset and Quantum Break and what's up? Recore and these games that, yeah, they might not have sold well. Maybe they didn't review all that well. It doesn't mean there's not a fan base that those games built. Yeah. And do it. Like, just hey, if you put out a second one and that bombs as well, okay, you tried. But well,
look at Uncharted. Uncharted 1 bombed pretty much, and it wasn't until Uncharted 2 before they found their strive. And a lot of games are like that. The kill zones and the resistance. Hopefully they'll find a good developer for Fable, because that franchise is just too loved by the fan base. To just let it go. Hopefully there's some new life and Scalebound eventually. Maybe a new developer can pick up on that. But there's a lot of IPs that Microsoft have that they have to breathe some life in them. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping that obviously I think Phil has went over to Japan, so he's working out some deals over there to bring some new content. Hopefully they can just. Again, I still think that exclusives really matter. It defines the console, and it gives people a reason to buy the console, because they know that this developer will take advantage of every single piece of performance out of this box, and they're going to show it love. Something that the third-party developers are probably not going to do as much. They have no reason to.
Yeah, because they've got to work with every other system, so you can't
just throw it out.
You can't unlock everything that you can. But and then with Microsoft, like some of their best games, they're probably my two favorite as of now, and I still need to play a lot of them. Xbox One exclusives have both been quote indies, and that's Ori and Cuphead. Like they need to realize that ID at Xbox, they're good, and let them churn out more. Like I don't know that Hello Neighbor game coming out, which looks really fun.
It looks cool.
Is that an ID at Xbox? I'm not really sure if that's. I know it's developed by I can't think of the studio right now, but it's weird. If you go in, I was in Walmart yesterday, and there is Hello Neighbor plushes and I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like so, hey, props to them. They're putting it out there, so hopefully this game takes off, and it shows that. When you have a lack of AAA exclusives, keep hitting us over the head with those good, quote indies, and I'm happy, man. I'm happy with those.
And I feel like if you fill the space with these new IPs or these little niche indie games, you fill the space in between your bigger games. It makes the bigger games seem bigger. When you only have Halo and Gears coming out, people get their hopes up so high that there's no way they're going to hit that and hold up to the expectations that people have built up.
Well, and that's what Sony's been doing. I mean, they'll throw a big AAA out there, and they'll fill the rest of the time with some indies, and then a couple of months later they'll hit you with another big game. It helps fill that void. But when you have a year like 2017 where there was literally little to no content that was really quality, it caught Microsoft off guard, because this was the year that Sony was firing on all cylinders, and this was the year that Microsoft was firing on one cylinder. So it kind of it was so unbalanced. Now, if this was last year, it wouldn't have been so bad. You see what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been so bad. But this year, and shouts out to Yoshida. He says 2018 is going to be even bigger than 2017. So that's confidence right there. That's so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be another crazy year. Well, you know what? We're talking about how the year's been crazy. Let's
hold on.
Oh, I apologize. I was trying to segue.
I know.
God damn, you ruined that.
I didn't even finish talking about what I played.
I don't care. Into the next segment.
I just need to talk about the game that you guys chose for me. I played. My poll game. You guys picked Batman, Arkham Knight. It's a fun game. I'll preface it by saying that is a fun game. Now I'll say some negative things. It's kind of it's hurt by the fact that I'm playing it when I am, because
so far after you mean, or
well, just because I'm playing it now as opposed to when it came out. When it was out, I hadn't had these experiences that I've had this year. You know what I mean?
Touche.
So this year I've played all of these amazing Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, Wolfenstein 2 I played, and then immediately Batman Arkham Knight, and it doesn't grab you in the same way.
Okay.
It's also hurt by the fact, this is going to sound stupid, it's hurt by the fact that I've watched Lego Batman so many times.
Oh yeah.
Because the stuff that Batman says in the game, are so like, I'm Batman and I'm tough. And
he's edgelord.
Right. And after watching Lego Batman, I can't listen to him saying that without like picturing him being like, "No, Robin, I don't want your help. Listen to my mixtape." Batman.
Fair enough.
So it hurts it. So what I did though is after I played it the first night, I got the skin pack and I put him in the old
Adam West
costume. So now it's just like a little bit more over the top. So now it cuts to him trying to be like badass Batman.
But he looks like a moron.
No, I don't know. I won't save her. I will do the best for my city. And then it pans to him and you see like the painted on eyebrows. And I'm just like, all right, this is good now.
Essentially wearing underwear over his. Yeah, it's pretty great.
He's fat.
I played so much of the game in that Adam West skin. It was amazing.
It makes it a lot more bearable. It's a fun game though. I don't care about all the like side quests and stuff. I want to get through the game though. I want to finish the story. I want to finish the main story with the main boss, bad guy, and then the Riddler stuff with Catwoman.
Main boss, bad guy.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything about the game. Yeah. It also sucks too because I know things about the game that happen at the end just because it's been so long that people have mentioned.
Plus, there's
this
multiple endings of the game as well. Not that play out any differently. Like once you beat the main beats of the story, it ends, but then you can go and knock out some side missions and stuff, and you get another ending and another ending. I am so close to the platinum in that game, and I can't do it because you have to do all the Riddler races.
Yeah,
fuck those; they're awful.
Yeah.
I like the game. I liked that game. A lot of gripe about that game was the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Which is a little tedious, and there are some points where you're like, all right, okay, but. There was weird. There's one level, and Jay, I'm guessing you've probably played Arkham Knight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's actually a platforming level in the Batmobile, and it's really fucking weird. Like you're jumping on small platforms of a building to get to the top, and it's a car. It doesn't exactly, handle particularly well. But I thoroughly enjoy that game. I think it got a lot of really unnecessary flack.
It did, and a lot of it, you're right. It was for all I've heard in the. How long ago did it come out? 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
And all I've heard about it since then is A, who the bad guy is, and B, that the car stuff sucks. I didn't think it was that bad. I guess maybe having 2 years of people telling me it sucks like lowers your expectations. True. So I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad.
So bad, yeah.
Well, I definitely enjoyed the game. I beat it on the Xbox on the 1S. And I was hoping for a X patch. Hopefully, it would get enhanced to see what kind of update they could do for that. So I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but
it seems like they've just tried to distance themselves from Arkham Knight. They put out a ton of DLC afterwards, but it's a lot of small stuff like the Scarecrow challenges and stuff like that. But they did put out a lot of content after. So I mean, they fed that game for a whole year. They've just moved on, and they have all those rumors about the Superman game or a Justice League game and whatever they're working on now. But my favorite rumor of the Rocksteady is the Ninja Turtles game that was kicked around.
Dude,
I would kill for that.
I've never heard that.
Yep, that was this. Like 2 years ago, they were kicking around that they were playing with that license. It never went anywhere, but I'd love that.
I heard Superman as well.
Yeah, that's the newest one that I guess there was something that I don't want to say leaked, but was out there that people were digging around to look like that's what they're working on.
Let's face it, man. Superman hasn't been great in a game
ever.
I mean, the worst ever was Superman 64. With the new, DC movies and stuff coming out, they need to do some kind of justice with that.
Yeah. I actually really think I would like a a Justice League game by Rocksteady, but I think it would be tricky because Rocksteady does a good job of putting a good story into a superhero game, and something like the Justice League with all those different guys might be kind of hard to reel it in. But that being said, I would kill for that Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Game.
Also, I mean, a big part of those games is kind of feeling overpowered at times. You know, when you've got 20 guys coming at you and it's Batman's not superpowered.
Yeah.
So when you throw the superpowers into the mix, how is it going to translate with them?
That's true. That's a good point.
I'm not a big DC guy in general. Batman's really the only DC IP I enjoy. But I can't, like, how does Superman work in a game? I don't know.
He can't lose.
That's the problem that they have with a movie. It's like the guy is, you know, almighty. It's impossible to kill him pretty much. And not everybody can walk around with freaking kryptonite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't know, but if there's a way to get it done, I'm sure Rocksteady can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, they're an amazing company, and who knows what they're up to, but I would love to find out. And now that you've said Ninja Turtles, that's all I want to see.
Yeah, I know.
That would be such a cool game.
I would love that game.
I can't wait to play it and just walk around all the time and go, damn.
What's the last Ninja Turtles game you guys played? Did you play the Platinum Games Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I have the Platinum Games one. So the thing that I think they really missed the mark with the Platinum Games one was just not local. No co-op was weird. It's weird to play a turtle game without local co-op. That's weird.
Especially, I mean, your kids would love to play with
exactly.
you.
Yeah. I enjoy. It was a weird game, but I had fun with it. Now, if I didn't grow up the biggest Ninja Turtle fan in the world, I would probably be like, this is a pretty mediocre game. But for me, it's Turtles. It just gets a pass for me always. On that Retron that I said I got, I did buy the NES Turtles, the one with the god awful underwater level, and I'm going to see if I can finally beat it, which I won't. No, just the very first one where that's like the top. It's top down when you're walking around, then they get in the level, and it turns into a
side scroller.
Yeah, it's the one with the underwater where you're under the dam swimming through the electrified eels or coral, whatever it is.
It's so funny that's what everybody remembers, because that's the one spot that nobody could get past.
Nope, I have never seen what exists beyond that part.
Yeah, me either.
So,
and I played it religiously when I was a kid. I was like huge Ninja Turtles fan when I was a kid. I still like this. I still hear the theme song in my head sometimes. I'm like walking down the street, I hear do 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 do.
Yeah, I don't expect that to change either, because if anything's changed, I just have a much shorter fuse than when I was a child. So I'm probably really just gonna be like, fuck this game. But we'll see. We'll see. What about you, Jay? What's the last Turtle? Did you play the Platinum Turtle game?
Yeah, the Platinum one. I tried to get into it. I can only play it 5 minutes at a time, and I get bored. And even my kids, and you know, these boys are diehard Turtles fans. Even them are like, that's okay. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was that. I think that was the thing about Platinum Games. Every other game that they make is really good, but in between the really good game, there's a rushed bad game, and that was it just so happened that fell on one of their bad games, you know.
If you remember, it was leaked that they were working on it, and all that artwork kept leaking out, and they're like, shit, I guess we should just announce it now. And then from I think official announcement to release date was what, 5-6 months. It wasn't very long. So I feel like maybe they were kind of rushed into like, shit, everybody knows about it. The Ninja Turtle series was doing so well on Nickelodeon that they're like, all right, we need to strike while the iron's hot. Maybe they needed to let that game bake a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is. And it's one of those that apparently it was removed off of store shelves too. Like it had that licensing thing where they took it. That's gone now. So I have it physical, but apparently I don't know if you can still buy it digital. I think the license went out on a digital, or it maybe since it's come back, but there's a brief period of time where it was disappearing from store shelves and digital. So who knows? But
yeah, let's talk about the Game Awards.
Since we're talking about all this fun stuff.
Talking about all these great games we've played this year, and I cut that off by talking about Batman Arkham Knight from 2013.
I'm talking about Ninja Turtles from 1989. So you're good.
Have you voted on the Game Awards yet, Jay?
I have.
Okay. Brandon?
I have, yes. I shared all of mine, which probably irritated whoever follows me, because for a long period of time it was just Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon.
I saw that first button where it was like share your results, and I was like, maybe. I remember Brandon's tweets.
Brandon was a
done.
dick. I don't want to do that. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Exactly.
We don't want to. I mean, so in a couple weeks, we are going to do our big like Digital Hoarders Game of the Year show where we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. So we're not going to go over the stuff that's like, what's your Game of the Year?
Yeah.
Unless Jay, we're going to ask you what your Game of the Year is because.
Well, what I was thinking about doing is right now up. I have the Game Awards nominees up, so I was just going to go through the ones that stuck out to us and say, hey, what would you vote for out of these 5 or 6 or however many they put up, and then we can go from there. Like the one I'm looking at right now says best debut indie game. I really think we know who's going to win this one.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
But it's Slime Rancher, Mr. Shifty, Hollow Knight, Golf Story, which I've heard is really good, and Cuphead.
Yeah,
it's Cuphead. I mean, like
Mr. Shifty would be my second.
I've heard that game's pretty good. I've never played it though.
About it, what's it about?
I got it on the Switch.
What's it about?
Okay, so you're this guy, this basically police guy, and it's Mr. Shifty. You can shift, basically not time travel. You can portal. Basically, you can portal between the doors and stuff.
Oh,
and you enter all these buildings, and you have to use strategy to be able to go in between the walls and shoot canisters. You know, it's a great game, and obviously it's an indie game, and it's a perfect companion for your Switch.
Okay. And I've heard Golf Story is like really fun.
I want to play Golf Story so bad.
Switch only, correct?
Everybody plays that game.
Yeah.
So here you go, guys. Save some money. I got an email today from PayPal where if you use PayPal on Nintendo eShop right now, it'll take $5 off your purchase of $20 or more. So maybe I'll go buy Golf Story with that and add it to the games I'll never play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm putting Cuphead. You're putting Cuphead. And you're picking Cuphead.
Yeah, I got to pick Cuphead. What else was on the list? Golf Story. It seems like it'd be really cool, but Cuphead is just such an amazing game.
It's fantastic. Next one up, I'm going to skip over ones that I don't think any of us will speak to, but now this one gets trickier. Best independent game. You have Pyre, which is Supergiant's newest game, the guys who did Bastion and Transistor. Night in the Woods, Cuphead. What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade. This is a tricky one. So who would get your vote there, Jay?
Edith Finch would be number 1 and Cuphead secondly.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to follow along with this, by the way, thegameawards.com, just go there. You can vote, which you should. Can you still vote?
Yeah, you can still vote.
The Game Awards are tomorrow night. I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite indie game of the year, I've got to pick Hellblade, I think. It's close, though.
Yeah, this is a tricky one.
Hellblade, Cuphead, and Edith Finch are all like, maybe. Edith Finch was really, really cool. Yeah. Hellblade, though, was just something special.
Yeah, you were a real big fan of that game.
I
need to play it.
So
I still need to play it.
And Cuphead is also really special. But Cuphead's going to win enough awards. Let Hellblade pick one up.
I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the work that they did. And here's the thing about it. There is literally no other game like Hellblade.
Yeah.
The work that went into it, the audio design of the game. I mean, it's just nothing like it. And so that's why when you get down to these levels, you have to start thinking about the developers and their craft and what they were trying to do with their game. Obviously, you know, the rest of the games are beautiful and they play great. Great story behind them. You know, obviously except Cuphead because, you know, it's a side scroller, but it captured you and it did what it was supposed to do. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if the developer meant this game to do this and it was playable from finish to end and you enjoyed it, then it should be nominated.
Yeah.
For me, so I've played Cuphead and I've played Finch. I really want to play Hellblade, but I was blown away by What Remains of Edith Finch. So because I can't speak to Hellblade, and I did play a little bit of Pyre at PAX this year, but I would probably vote for Edith Finch in this one because that story was just fantastic.
But see, like this is another one. Like I haven't even played Pyre or Night in the Woods, and I want to play both, and they both look great.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how do we have 5 games that are neck and neck like this? Normally, on years when you do the Game Awards, half of the categories are pretty much decided already.
Yeah.
Popularity contests. I mean,
But this year just seems like I have no idea where any of these are going to go. What's going to win Game of the Year? Is Horizon going to win it? Or is Zelda going to win it? Is Odyssey going to win it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one up, this is a good one. This is the most anticipated game of the year.
Presented by McCafe.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh man.
So you've got some heavy hitters here. The Last of Us Part 2.
What?
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
Monster Hunter World.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
And a little game that Kratos knows something about, God of War.
God of War.
So I don't know if we have to ask, but Kratos, what are you picking?
Believe it or not,
Oh.
I'm gonna say The Last of Us 2.
Yes.
And I'm gonna, because The Last of Us, when I played it through the first time, I was amazed. I was shocked. So I played through it the second time, but this time my kids were around. They were sitting on the couch with me. And we were talking about the game and going through it. So they got locked into the Joel and Ellie story, and there was parts where they were crying, and so they got emotionally wrapped up into it. So it was like a family affair. And last PSX, I wasn't able to make it to PSX. So, as a family, we were sitting down watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they showed The Last of Us, they showed the part where there was a firefly carved into the tree.
Yep.
Like, everybody jumped up, started yelling and screaming and crying, like, oh my God, it's The Last of Us. And when we saw Ellie playing the guitar, it put us over the edge. So that game has an emotional connection. Whereas, come on, God of War, 10 out of 10 times, you can release that game anytime. It's going to sell like hotcakes. That is just the face of PlayStation at this part of time. But yeah, I have to give it to The Last of Us 2. I think even guys who don't play PlayStation, they know Joel and they know Ellie, and that has to say something about the Naughty Gods.
Yeah, I have rewatched. I'm picking The Last of Us Part 2 as well. I have rewatched that trailer, the first one and the second one, so many times. The first one, I get the hair stands up on my arm when Joel's shadow comes through the door. I know who it is. I've watched it enough. I don't care. And it's like I legitimately I was at PSX and that comes up and I was legitimately choked up. I was so excited. And when God of War was shown, I was just like, fuck yeah. And I was really excited. But The Last of Us, it hits a different nerve for me. So for me, it is The Last of Us. What about you all?
See, this is tougher for me. There's not a limit on like most anticipated game of what year? Like,
nope, just anticipated. Because I don't think Last of Us is coming out next year. But
there's no way Last of Us is coming out next year. I don't want to pick it because of that reason. I'm also really, 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 really excited for Spider-Man. I didn't even think about that when I wore my Spider-Man hoodie today. But I'm a huge Insomniac fan, and I really want to see what they do with the Spider-Man IP, because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. And that story, there's so much cool stuff that can be done with that story, and I feel like it's never, ever, ever handled as well as it should be. There have been some good games. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 on PS2 was amazing, but it still didn't hit all of the emotional notes that it could have, being Spider-Man. He's a guy who goes through a lot, and you never really get that vibe when you're playing that game. You don't feel like you're going through anything. You're just playing a superhero game.
Yeah. Here's the problem, and I hate to cut you off. With this game, we really don't know what the story is going to be like, because here's the thing: Spider-Man has changed so many characters. So you had Tobey Maguire or whatever. You got hooked on that one, and then you have the new guy here, and then you got the other one.
Andrew Garfield and now Tom Holland.
Yeah. So it's like, what effect, or what are they going to go for? We don't know. And so that's, to me, the most anticipated part for Spider-Man is, what kind of theme are they going to go with for this? Is it going to be the kid? Is it going to be a more mature themed? Or, but at the end of the day, the worst that this game is going to do is Infamous. It's going to be like Infamous.
Right. Which is fine with me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But, But
they also, in the trailers is Miles Morales. And I don't know what you guys know about Spider-Man, but Miles Morales in the comic books is a younger Hispanic Spider-Man who's still in high school and all that stuff. And he's a great, great character. In some of the comic universe, it's too complicated for me to get into here. But in some of the comic universes, Peter Parker died, and then Miles Morales takes over. In the game, it looks like Peter Parker's probably older. Miles Morales is a little bit younger. they've already said you're going to play as Peter Parker and you're going to be able to play as Mary Jane in spots. I don't know what that mechanic is going to be like or how it's going to be. I trust Insomniac though, and that makes me think that you'll probably play as Miles Morales too, which will be really
I think
that's great character.
I definitely think you're gonna get some, because when they first teased him at E3, but then in the Paris Games Week trailer, it was him like Peter was introducing Miles to.
Right.
So like that showed you, okay, yeah, he's more than just in the background, you know. And well, that would be a gut punch if they killed Peter Parker and like Miles has been training the whole time. But I don't feel like we'll see that, because Spider-Man is still too much of a. Kids are going to go play that game. You can't be killing Peter Parker on screen.
Yeah, but they can definitely. Peter Parker gets captured, and you can't play half the game. As
which
Miles
I can
Morales.
100% see that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my most anticipated game, just because I'm such a huge Spider-Man fan, and I hope that it goes as well as it could. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up, but I'm super excited for God of War. It looks amazing, and I'm super excited for Monster Hunter World.
All 5 of these are fantastic games. I mean,
well, I'll tell you guys one thing, and a lot of you guys may not think this about me, but I am actually anticipating State of Decay 2. Yeah, I love Part 1 on the 360. I got it on PC. I still play it. The only thing was missing was some obviously beautiful graphics and multiplayer. But being able to play that game and having the stories, and you have to protect your characters because if they die permanently. That is one of my most anticipated games for next year as well. So I really hope they do that game justice. I really do.
I still haven't played the first one. It looks really cool. The second one looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. So absolutely.
The graphics, they're butt ugly. So I mean, but the gameplay is so compelling, and it keeps you involved where you don't even kind of care about the graphics at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all that really matters to me. If it's fun, it's fun. That's all I need.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go over these next few. I guess for these, we'll just hit on what we want, because we don't want to go into too long a discussion, or we will turn into the Bros 3.5-hour podcast. Best multiplayer: Fortnite, COD, Splatoon 2, random, Mario Kart, Destiny 2, and PUBG. Jay?
Well, I mean, I might as well. It's going to be PUBG.
Yeah, that's what's going to win. I don't think there's any.
Now, keep in mind, I own all these games. I own them all. But I can't deny the popularity of PUBG at this time. Fortnite is a great substitute. It's a great game in its own right. It's a great drop in real quick, play with friends, drop out. But I mean, PUBG is firing on all cylinders. The thing, I mean, 20 million plus people can't be wrong.
Yeah, no.
I hope that trickles down into the consoles. You know,
absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think I would pick Fortnite for me, but I think to win this category, I pick PUBG.
Yeah.
Just because it's literally been revolutionary in the game industry right now. Yeah. It came out in early access early this year, and took the world by storm in early access. I mean, the game's not technically done yet. They're still doing a lot of work on the game, and they've got millions of concurrent players.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea that obviously isn't a completely original idea, but whatever they did is they figured the formula out and they made it work in a way that's never been done before. And obviously Fortnite saw that and borrowed from ideas in spots, to put it as nicely as I can. But I like Fortnite. I think it's more fun for me. Fortnite is.
Yeah.
But PUBG is really, really special. And I've said it before, but no game has gotten my heart racing like PUBG has. I mean, since I was a kid. It's just like that excitement when you get down towards the end. You're so nervous all the time.
My favorite, and I've said this a million times, I'm not a big multiplayer guy. If I was picking what's on this list, for me, it's Fortnite. If I'm picking what's going to win, it's PUBG. If I was picking my ultimate game that's not listed here, it's Friday the 13th. That is my favorite multiplayer game. And I still go back to that game, and I still love that game. But obviously that's not on this list, so PUBG's going to win, but I did vote for Fortnite.
Gonna write that in?
Yeah, exactly. That's my write-in. Now, this next category is Jay all the way. Sports/racing game. Jay, we do not have 4 hours for you to talk about the racing games, so you just have to say what you like and move on. Project Cars 2, Pro Evolution Soccer, NBA 2K18, GT Sport, Forza Motorsport, or FIFA 18.
Of course, I'm the god of all things racing as well. So, Gran Turismo Sport, without a doubt. Am I biased? Yes, I am. But here's the thing: okay, I race on PC as well, and with the Oculus Rift on VR in Project Cars. It is a simulator, and I enjoy it. I race with a Assetto Corsa on PC. I enjoy it. But this is the first time ever on a console that you have a full-fledged simulator that is basically trying to bring the PC aspects to the console. You can get your real world racing license from a console. How freaking crazy is that? The mere fact that this is a game that teaches you how to race and how to take corners and how to be a good steward to other racers and not just jump in there and bash a person out of the way. I think this game wins hands down. I love Forza, but it's a combination of the previous two games. There's nothing new about it. It's Forza. You know, what can you say? It's Forza.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They know what they're doing there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And it focused. It's tailored toward the more casual arcade type racers. So yeah, but you got my pick, man. You got my pick.
It's hard for me to speak to these because I've played GT, I played a little bit of Forza, I have played FIFA, and I've played 2K. I haven't put a lot of time into any of them. So just the homer and me will say GT Sport.
It's weird that Madden's not on this list.
I agree. Or MLB The Show.
It's super weird to me that MLB. I get why MLB The Show is not on the list, just because it's a smaller game.
But it's also it outsells these games.
That's true.
So,
but I'm surprised that Madden's not, with all of the innovation that it had this year.
Yeah.
But I can't pick because the only sports game I've cared about at all this year is MLB The Show.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Simple enough. All right. Next one's perfect for us because we're all dads here. So best family game: Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Mario Kart, or Mario Odyssey. I'm seeing a theme here. Jay, you've probably played all of these. So what are you picking?
I have them all, and one that I'm anticipating is not out yet. It's coming out tomorrow. Yeah, it's Happy Neighbor.
Oh,
Hello Neighbor. Yeah,
yeah, and it's not on the list, but with this, I'll say Mario Kart. It's something that we can play on the Switch. My son can take a Joy-Con. I can take a Joy-Con. We can race against each other. We can race against my friends. That would be a game that people can jump into that I'll choose.
So I didn't pick up Mario Kart with my Switch because I have 8 on the Wii U with all of the DLC. So it's one I do want to get because it's Mario Kart. It's freaking fantastic. But I didn't pick it up for the Switch yet. But the one I'm picking is actually it's the only one I've played is Sonic Mania. But damn, I really loved Sonic Mania. But I'm sure Odyssey is going to win. It's going to be Odyssey or Mario Kart.
I think Odyssey wins hands down, is my guess. But I'm picking Splatoon 2 just because I've seen how much fun the kids have with it. I haven't really spent any time with it, but it looks super fun, and it's like visually, it's really something cool and different.
Yeah.
And any kid that I've seen play it is all about it. My kids are obsessed with it. We don't have it because we don't have a Switch, but they've used other people's Switches, and it's just like, we have to get Splatoon 2.
Exactly.
All right. Alden, I'm going to let you take over before I run out of a voice, so you can take over with Best RPG.
You've never run out of a voice
I'm
in your
done
entire
talking.
life. I don't think you know how
I'll
that
scroll. You
works. Wait, are you going to scroll?
I'll scroll. You're looking at
best role-playing game, South Park, Fractured But Whole, Final Fantasy 15, Divinity Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, and Persona 5. That's a
tricky one for you. You know what I'm picking because I'm not an RPG guy, but I absolutely love South Park, the Fractured But Whole. That's my pick. But what about you, Jay?
Persona 5, hands down.
Okay.
It was my first Persona 5 game.
Okay.
My Persona game, and my friends, they enjoyed all the previous versions, but the idiots never told me about it. So this Persona 5 was my first exposure, and I'm like, holy crap, I love this game. Why has nobody ever told me about it? So, Persona 5.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta, if you have a Vita, go back and play Persona 4. Persona 4 Golden. It's so fun. I like it better than I like Persona 5. Out of that list, I gotta pick Nier Automata. It doesn't feel like a role-playing game, so I'm not sure if that's fair, but I love Nier Automata so much that I'm going to pick it at any chance I can when it's not up against Horizon Zero Dawn.
Fair enough.
Persona 5 is an amazing game, and for the first 40 hours of it, it was one of my favorite games I've ever played, and then I felt like it dragged on too long. And I don't mean like the game itself is too long, because Persona 4 is just as long. I just felt like it got a little bit stale.
Okay.
I love the art style, I love the characters, and I love a lot about that game. But I did kind of fall off the excitement as it went on. I love it, but
all right, let's move on. Let's rapid fire here.
Rapid fire. Let's
best action adventure game. Go ahead.
Uncharted: Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Jay, best action adventure game.
This is another tricky one.
Nah.
That's hard,
Oh, wow.
but Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, check.
Again, if Horizon Zero Dawn is in it, I voted for Horizon Zero Dawn. That game just blew me away on every
I did that
facet.
for almost every category except for the sound category.
Okay.
Okay.
All
You know
right.
how I feel about sound.
Yes.
Hellblade would probably win the sound department.
Yeah, that's yep.
Best action game: Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, Cuphead, or Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, I voted for this before I played Wolfenstein 2, and I picked Cuphead. But I need to retroactively go back. I need to call them and tell them to change my vote to Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're waiting on
I
that
knew
call.
I would like it, and I've heard great things about it. And Wolfenstein 1 was amazing. Wolfenstein 2 is incredible.
I haven't even played it yet, but that's what I would pick. Something else. So the next category is something we all can speak to as well.
Best VR/AR game. I don't know if any of these are AR
I don't
games.
think they
really.
are. No, none of them are.
Super Hot VR. I haven't played it. Star Trek Bridge Crew, Lone Echo, Echo Arena, Farpoint, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
It's Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is my winner by a. They're all good games on here, except I don't know what Lone Echo is. I've never every VR game I've played doesn't touch Resident Evil 7. That's my winner.
Okay, so here is going to be a tie between Farpoint and Resident Evil 7. I'll give it the go to Resident Evil 7 only because they knew what they were doing. This game visually is a knockout, and it's Resident Evil. Come on, how can you not like Resident Evil?
Yeah. I haven't played Farpoint or Super Hot, and I really only put the Resident Evil headset on for like 10 minutes. And it wasn't because I was too scared. That was a game that I was playing through with my fiance Tanya.
Yeah.
And I can't really do that if I'm in VR.
Yeah.
But I still have to say Resident Evil 7 because it's just really cool. Best audio design. Here we
There you
go.
go.
Destiny 2, Hellblade, Resident Evil 7, Super Mario Odyssey, and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Sound design, Jay.
Hellblade. I mean, they the whole game was basically evolved around you wearing headphones.
You played it with headphones on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it tells you the best method to play with is with the headphones.
Yeah.
So while I haven't played Hellblade, but that's everything I ever heard from Alden was the way she speaks to you, and or she speaks to herself, but she's speaking to you. Because I haven't played Hellblade, I can't speak to it. I can speak to Resident Evil 7, and being in VR with the sound when you hear her scurrying behind you and shit like that, that gets under your skin. So that would get my vote there. But hearing everything about Hellblade, I'm sure that would had I played it.
Ooh, okay, here we go. Best score and music: Destiny 2, Cuphead, Nier Automata, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Persona 5. Some really good soundtracks there.
I'm gonna have to give it to Zelda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Zelda, man. That the music in that game, it just had me. It's one of my runner-ups for game of the year.
Okay.
And so I'll knock Mario third, only because it's Mario. Like
That's kind of what I was thinking.
it's an unfair game, guys.
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Well, Persona 5 soundtrack is so interesting. Like, it fits the game so perfectly.
Yes. Being in the high school and hearing that the tunes, it's catchy. Or if you're in a restaurant, you know.
Yeah. But my pick there by far is Nier Automata. Did you play Nier Automata, Jay?
Yes.
I
haven't beat it. I like the game, but it's one of those. The game got caught up in a time where there's 50 other games releasing around the same time. So I mean, my backlog is freaking huge.
Yeah. Welcome to Digital Hoarders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You fit right in.
Nier Automata is probably my second or third favorite game of all time now. But its soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, again, I haven't played enough of these, but I love what they do in Cuphead. Just even down to the popping and the crackling I love that kind of stuff. So for me, I would go to Cuphead. You would do art direction?
Best art direction, let's throw it out there.
Okay.
Destiny 2, Cuphead, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
This is one I struggled with because, again, I want to give everything to Horizon, but Cuphead, you've never seen anything like it. So I think this is the one thing I will give a nod to something over Horizon. The Cuphead art style, I mean, we've literally never seen anything like that in a game. So I give art to Cuphead.
I would say Cuphead. I want to give it to Cuphead. I really do, but my fanboy hat will not allow me to give it over the Horizon Zero Dawn. Think about it. These developers, Guerrilla Games, they have only made shooters previously.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not having fun with that decision.
Dark, bleak shooters.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they went out on them, created something totally different that has never been done. We got freaking Dinobots in the game. And it's, from caveman to Dinobots. This is just the game is just, it was a knockout. And, I have to give it to Horizon.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with it, but not with Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, or Persona 5, because Persona 5 did art in a way that I've never seen done in any game before either. I mean, they used art to really set the tone of that game, and the way things like pop and flash at you.
Storyboards,
yeah. And even just as far as selecting attack and defend and whatever, like even that's just like it's just in your face and so colorful and cool. Okay. I think I picked Persona 5, but Horizon's close just because that's the prettiest game I've ever played.
I agree with that.
I haven't even played it on a Pro yet.
Yeah.
I want to see it on Pro.
Did they have the Lost Legacy in there or Uncharted?
They did not, no.
Okay. Because I was going to say the HDR and the neon lights when you're at the top of the building. I mean, and I'm playing on an OLED TV, so it's like, geez, this stuff is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that I forgot what I was even going to say. Good point.
Good talk. Talk about Naughty Dog?
It's weird that – thank you. It's weird that Uncharted isn't on more of this.
I think it's, again, any other year, it's going to stick out. It's still, I think, viewed as a DLC. It is a DLC, if you will, but it's a standalone game. But I think when it's considered DLC, I think it gets skipped a little bit more.
But here's the thing. It got robbed last year.
Yeah, what won Game of the Year last year over Uncharted 4?
Overwatch.
Yeah, you're right, which was bullshit. Yeah,
it got robbed last year, so you would think that it would at least be in the running.
Yeah, but I think when you consider it and it's categorized as a expansion DLC, people look over it a little more than which isn't fair. If it's Naughty Dog, I always tell people if they're looking at a video game to buy, I was like, if you see a little red paw print in the bottom right hand corner, just buy it because it's going to be fantastic.
I love that game, Lost Legacy, but I do think in most of these categories it loses just because of the year that we've had.
Again, the year we're having,
and it's nothing against the game. It's an amazing game, but it's going to lose to Nier Automata and Hellblade and Persona 5 and Horizon Zero Dawn most of the time, I think.
Here's a tough one.
This is another real tough one. I think we'll just do a couple more.
Well, we only got like 3 left, so this is perfect.
Okay.
Best narrative.
We've got What Remains of Edith Finch, Nier Automata, Hellblade, Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
This might be the hardest one yet.
It's impossible.
It's read the results again. I mean,
all right. So best narrative: What Remains of Edith Finch, Nier, Hellblade, Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'd say Nier.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm going to say Nier. And I'm not going to say why because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But
don't. It's so cool.
So the story in Edith Finch is fantastic. Well, then that's what we're looking at is the story here. But I would vote Horizon again because for me to sit down and play a game, I'd already told you I don't play games in big chunks of time. That was not the case with this. I was so engaged with what was going on. There was, and some people like to throw around with bigger, open world games like this that the story isn't there. There was a very good story in Horizon, full of all kinds of different tropes and stuff like that. But for me, it's Horizon. But I haven't played Wolfenstein 2, and all I hear is you rave about the story. And I haven't played Hellblade, but all I hear is you rave about the story.
You haven't played Nier Automata?
No.
And all
what
you
are
hear
you
is me
picking
rave
here?
about the story.
Yeah, pretty much. So good luck.
This is literally all of these games. Edith Finch, the story in that game is probably a 9.5, but the other 4 are all 10 out of 10. The Nier story is a 10, Hellblade's a 10, Horizon's a 10, and Wolfenstein's a 10.
Yeah.
So who gets your vote?
I think probably Nier Automata, just because gameplay-wise, Horizon's a lot better, so it can string you along with gameplay through a lot of the slower side quests. Nier kind of has to bring you along with the story, and it does. And where the story goes is so like crazy, too crazy at times, but emotional and awesome at other times. So I think it edges out Horizon, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, we've come to the finale, the big one. So game of the year. Alden, what do we got here?
Well, game of the year, we've got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Jay?
Horizon Zero Dawn all day.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I don't even
think
know
we're
why
sweeping it here. I don't know why I said here comes the big one.
And I'll tell you this. If there's one game that you named, if that wins game of the year, people are going to rage. Yes.
The fact that Overwatch won last year, though, doesn't make me feel like PUBG is all that. I get it, the whole it's not even a finished game, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But as Alex said in the chat, they just went over 26 million in 9 months. If you want to look at it that, but I want Horizon to win, but I think Zelda's going to win because people were giving that fucking game a 10 out of 10 when they were 4 minutes into it. They're like, Zelda's the best game I've ever played. It's the game of a lifetime. I feel like it was too in everybody's face for people to have overlooked that game, unfortunately.
Well, and Mario too, but here's the reason I take PUBG out of this, because all of the developers that have crafted their games and they made a finished game from start to finish, and yet you have a game that's not even finished. It's a beta. It's a freaking, it's a mode out of a whole nother game that they delivered. And I get it. It's sold a lot. It's very popular, but that's going to set up a bad precedence with developers saying, well, look, if a half finished game that's in beta can win game of the year, why should we even go and finish this? Let's just throw out games and see what stick. But that's my reasoning behind it, And I enjoy PUBG, I really do. But I think it needs to win its own separate category somewhere else, but not game of the year. Even the developers themselves said that they should win game of the year. Over Horizon Zero Dawn, over Mario Odyssey, over Zelda, over all of these other big major hits that are finished in every category. Come on.
So if you guys could remove PUBG, what would you put? You'd put Nier in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What would you put in there, Jay? If you're so you don't like PUBG being in there, what do you put in its spot?
Horizon Zero Dawn or Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No, I mean, if you could take PUBG out of the running and put a different game in there, what would you put in?
Believe it or not, Persona 5.
Well, that one's in there.
Oh, you said Persona 5?
Yeah, so it's Zelda, Odyssey, PUBG, Persona, and Horizon.
Okay.
All right, for game of the year. Are you good, dude?
So you take out PUBG, do you put in, Cuphead, or do you put in Nier or
Neo, or
you know what?
Hellblade?
I'll actually put in Xenoblade Chronicles too.
Damn, okay.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that one was just one that missed the cut on this, so couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure the game's fantastic, but it missed the cut. For me, and it would never be in here, but if you're just talking about to me and what I've played this year, I would put Resident Evil 7 in there because I was absolutely blown away by
That's the problem with the game coming
game.
out in January.
You forget about it. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would have forgotten about Horizon by now if it wasn't just so amazing.
Exactly.
But I mean, I can see a scenario where PUBG wins that category because it might not be the same kind of game, or the story might not be fleshed out, or the art might not be fleshed out. But it took the world by so much of a storm that I can imagine people voting for it for that reason. Should it be? No. And they're going to go back 2 years from now and say, why did we vote for Overwatch, and why did we vote for PUBG?
That's what I'm saying. So will that set up a precedent saying that really game of the year now is going to be multiplayer shooters?
Yeah.
That would, yeah. The hero should lawbreakers. That should win. But Anchorman is saying we're supposed to kick you off the show for not including Wolfenstein 2 or his beloved Snake Pass. My God, he loves that game. He is the only one I know that screams that game from the rooftops. Man, he's a huge fan of Snake Pass.
Snake Pass
was the real game of the yep.
On the Switch, I really
serious.
enjoy that game too.
I haven't played it, so maybe I should pick up Snake Pass. It'll make Anchorman happy.
Yeah.
Gotta stop picking up all these games.
I do, but I'm a digital hoarder. All right, so that wraps up the awards. Since we're running out of time here, we got PSX this weekend. This will be the first PSX out of all of them that I've ever missed. But Jay, is this your? You didn't go last year.
Yeah, I was gonna go last year. I had tickets and everything, and something came up, so I couldn't go. This year, I'm definitely going, even though I'm sick now. My wife was supposed to go with me, and now our sitter cancels, so now she has to stay back. But Kratos will be in the building.
Alden will take her ticket. He'll be your plus one.
There you
go. Next year I go. So is this your first one then?
Yes, it is.
Now you've been to E3. You've been to PAX. What all have you been to?
PAX South. I haven't been to E3.
Okay. All right. So I have done, Now I've done PSX. I've done E3. I've done 5 E3s, all the PSXs except this one, and PAX East in Boston. I've done two of those, but PSX is hands down my favorite one because it's more intimate. Like it's E3 if it was just what you were there to see. Strip away everything else. It's just hardcore PlayStation fans who just get to talk about PlayStation. When you're standing in lines talking to people, who's ever standing in front of you is a huge PlayStation fan as well, or they wouldn't be there. So, and it's just a positive place. It's a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of fun there because they do this thing every year with trading cards. If anybody in the chat has ever been there to PSX, let us know. But they do this thing with trading cards where you go around and play different games. And you get a trading card. You can actually build a whole deck, and these things are amazing. Like they're legitimate playing cards, but they've got the image of the game that you just played, and they'll be like foil embossed and stuff like that. And there's platinum and silver and gold and bronze cards. They're so nice. So it's a little mini game in and of itself, but you'll bump elbows with all the guys at Naughty Dog, and they're having The Last of Us 2 and Uncharted 10-year panel there. I've met so many people there, like in the industry there. It's a lot of fun, and I think you're gonna love every minute of that.
Nice. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of guys on YouTube and Twitter that obviously we're all major gamers, and this is our hobby of choice. So looking forward to it. Can't wait.
So we kind of talked about the Game Awards for 300 years. We don't have time to go over everything, but what are you looking forward to, or what are you hoping to see the most at PSX?
This is what I want to see. I want them to do what they did last year. And that means, and when I say that, I want them to come out with a whole another 2-year lineup of games that we knew nothing about.
Okay.
I want them to have us talking about the future, just like they did last year. They came out, they didn't talk, they just shut up. They showed you game after game after game after game and made you cry, they made you laugh, and they brought the nostalgia back. I want them to do that again. So the stuff that we know from E3 and from Paris Games Week, yes, I do want to see some of those on the show floor, but with their conference, I want them to show us the future, and nobody can do that like Sony. I mean,
now the only difference there is they're not having like the traditional press conference. I forget how they're wording it.
They're doing a live stream something.
Yeah, it's like essentially like a meet and greet, if you will. But they sound like they're being super coy with their wording.
Yes.
Like it's Sony. They've got something up their sleeves. They've got something they're going to be like.
Yes, I think they're trying to undersell it.
I agree.
Realize, this E3, we knew that E3 this year was going to be impossible to surpass the PlayStation experience.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
PSX is something intimate, and it's
Sony
controls the narrative, they control the time, and it's their people that's there. And one thing about Sony, they play up to their base, and they make a lot of people jealous with that. And this event is for the fans, it's for their base, and I'm prepared, for my socks to be knocked off. So hopefully,
well, don't worry. They've got a really cool booth there where you can buy PlayStation socks to be knocked off. Nice. Their booths there are amazing. The really unique swag that you can only get there is so cool.
Are you trying to sell stuff from
across the country? I'm always working, man.
You're on,
but real talk.
The
store there is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it is really cool.
By the way, shout out to Brandon. He's sent me a loot crate. And some of my Loot Crate swag to PSX, so he set me off in style. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, buddy. I'm glad I could help, but you'll love it. This will be the first year I've missed, but it is definitely my favorite show of the year. It's just like I said, it's just more fun. It's more intimate. It's more relaxing. It's just it's a good time. I'm sad I'm missing it this year, but it's kind of understandable why.
One question I want to ask both of you guys.
What's up?
With PSX being so successful the last few years, do you see a trend of maybe people will start winding down from E3 and just giving their own events? You got obviously the big guys like EA, they have their own press conference outside of E3. So I've heard people say that it costs so much just to show up at E3. They would rather do their own thing for their own fans. And I see Sony being able, obviously their PSX is more successful than their E3 showing. So do you see that in the future, that kind of being the main thing?
I can't believe that nobody else has looked at this and said, let's do our own thing.
Microsoft has their thing, but it's not on this scale. They don't hype it up to this scale. They don't announce stuff at it. They have I think it's FanFest, if I'm not mistaken. And, it's great for their fans, but what PlayStation does to go up above that is they put a presser around this. So it feels like a mini E3. I agree. I personally cannot stand Treehouse Directs when Nintendo does. I think they're awful. I think they're cheesy. They're too corny. They try too hard. Yeah. Just hit me with it. I don't need you give me and that's one thing that Sony started to realize, I feel like a couple years ago. Sean Layden has come out and said, you guys don't want to hear me talk. Yes. So I'm going to come out, I'm going to say hi, and then I'm off. I'm going to let the trailers do the talking, and that's how it should be.
Definitely. They don't give you any more numbers like they used to. Nope. Oh, yeah, we did this and that. And we don't care about that. Just show us the goods and take my money.
Give us the sizzle reel to start.
Yes.
Let Sean come out, because Sean, I love that man. If you see him there, say hi to him. He is the nicest guy in the industry by far. So shake his hand and talk to him. He's amazing. But yeah, he'll come out after the sizzle reel, show a trailer, and then leave for 25 minutes. Then he'll come back out and be like, how cool was that? Now watch this. And then I'll walk off the stage again. And I like that. Let the games speak for themselves. But yeah, I agree. I think Microsoft should take FanFest and just make it bigger. FanFest is surrounded around E3, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when they do it. But do it in its own, because if you do something that's bumped up with E3, then it's overshadowed. Let it put something in April or May when it's just nobody's doing anything.
But you have to have the content to drag on the show. You can't.
True.
One or two games. Sony has so much content, from the big exclusives to the indies to the VR. They have a whole separate category to show you a ton of content.
Yeah.
So you have to have that. If not, then it's going to look like you just threw two games together and showed some guys, and it's going to pale in comparison.
That's true. But I do think it just gives kind of a more personal feel to your company, and it creates this community that PlayStation has around it that a lot of other things don't, where you feel like I'm a part of something, you know? Even when I didn't buy a PS3 because I wasn't into the marketing and how they sold that initially and how much it cost. I didn't have $600 to drop on it, and I wasn't going to get a second job like they were telling me to do. But there was still a community being developed there that has grown now. And I even when I didn't have a PS3, I was listening to podcasts. I was listening to PlayStation Beyond, and that kind of community is what probably led me into getting back into PlayStation. I was a big PS2 fanboy, and then finally got a PS3 5 or 6 years into its life cycle.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think PSX and the things like that are just an extension of that, where the community is growing and people are becoming more involved and more they care more about things that they otherwise wouldn't care for. People 10 years ago wouldn't have been losing it over Naughty Dog showing anything.
Yeah.
Now you know who Naughty Dog is, and you care about Naughty Dog, and you know the people who've worked there, and it's a community that you don't see a lot of times. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, I agree.
You're right. I agree.
And I think I don't think anybody. I was looking at the chat there, and Alex said, E3 is during the summer. That's the time you want announcements. Yes and no. You can hit me with anything. It doesn't matter when it is. An announcement's an announcement. You can hit me with, hell, you could come on tonight at 4:00 in the morning, and I wake up to that announcement. It's not when it was made; it's what was made. So it doesn't really matter when it's that announcement is. Yeah. But I think it makes smart to do this thing at the end of the year because you've distanced yourself from the other. You've got PAX. Now, granted, they don't announce games at PAX, but E3 in the summer is the first time where they really hit you with new games, and then it just gets rolling after there. Then you can't be stopped. Then there's that lull, and then you have PSX, which is why I think if Microsoft wanted to do it, I think you should try to get before E3 because after December, from December to June, there's nothing.
Yeah,
put something in April, put something in May for Xbox, and maybe be a way to put stuff out there. I
agree,
but as far as big announcements go, we didn't even talk about the biggest announcement in history.
We can't not let Alden talk about this. So.
I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but if you did, you'll notice I stopped tweeting for a little while. It's because I switched over to text messages because I didn't want to annoy my followers. Capcom was doing their Mega Man 30th anniversary stream. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Time just flies, and I don't even understand. It's all a blur to me now. They were acting like they were going to announce something. Yeah. And I got my hopes so high, but I kept trying to talk myself down. They're not going to talk about anything. If they're going to come up and they're going to say, oh, now you can play Mega Man Legacy Collection on the Switch.
Yeah.
So they start up the show, and the first thing they do is say, coming soon to Switch.
You're like, son of a bitch. There we go.
And I switched over to text Brandon and Doc, and I'm just like, they did it to me, and I'm getting my hopes up. It's not over yet. I don't know why I'm still watching, though. But as soon as they showed that, they started a video where they showed, Mega Man going through the years, and it's playing the music, and I'm getting all nostalgic. And then I'm watching it, and they get to 94, and I'm like, what if they just keep going past 2017 and they go to 2018? And then my heart's beating faster. I'm like, come on, don't do this, Alden. What are you doing? Don't get your hopes up. This is stupid. And then it gets to 2010 or whatever it was when Mega Man 10 came out.
Yeah.
And he gets on a little rush jet and flies across all these years that have nothing. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, thanks for reminding me. And then
they crash into Mighty Number 9. You're like,
no! And then he goes into 2018, and there it is, Mega Man 11. It's a brand new art style.
Yeah.
It's going to turn a lot of people off, I think, but look past it. I mean, first off, making games in 8-bit is not an easy task these days. It's a lot easier to make the game in a computer and make the art style that way. But it doesn't matter to me as long as the game is difficult and fair. I think Mighty Number 9's problem is it didn't have a lot of heart, and at times it was just too easy. Mega Man's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
It should be difficult. And from watching that trailer, it seems to be there's I don't think they showed any bosses. They didn't show any boss fights. They showed mini bosses, and it seemed like there's a real method to it, and it had a Mega Man feel to it. The art style is a little bit different. But if you look past that, the music is also a little bit different. It's got an actual music feel instead of that kind of chip tune kind of music. But
yeah,
I'm sorry.
You're still in day one.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Mega Man 11, it's here.
Nice.
In 9 months.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I'm glad to see you so happy. Capcom's winning you back over with Monster Hunter. When they took Monster Hunter and then they put Aloy in it.
Oh, man.
It was like that was Alden's wet dream right there. Just come to reality. Oh, terrible choice.
Best of both worlds.
Terrible choice. Yeah, when you took those and put them together, Alden was done, man. He was done.
I think I tweeted about it. Like, hey, Monster Hunter, like you guys did this on purpose. Like, just tell me you want to say hi, because that's for me.
That is definitely for you. So.
Yeah, I love Monster Hunter and have it on PS4, and then Resident Evil 7 this year, and now Mega Man 11. Capcom's doing the right thing for the first time in 6 years.
Just got to keep it up.
Yeah.
And then all the rumors, again, back to PSX, all the Devil May Cry 5 rumors.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those.
So we'll see. Hopefully, finally, maybe that Resident Evil 2 remake, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm all for. I love Resident Evil 2. I would love a Nemesis remake as well. Just keep it going. But we'll see. But because what they're saying with the Resident Evil 2 remake is they're building it back up like they did the Resident Evil remake, which is pretty game, compared to especially what it was. But so yeah, but what you got, buddy?
That's it.
That's it. We wrap this sucker up.
Nice.
Are you good to get off, Jay? Or are you gonna be you're gonna feel incomplete because you haven't spoken for?
No. I'm good, man. I'm good. After I get off of this, I got another podcast I'm gonna jump on.
Man, never stop.
I'm trying to sweep this cold out of me. You know.
There you go.
Gotta be ready.
We appreciate you coming on. You guys don't understand. You can't get more last minute. I was talking to him and I was like, hey, Doc's not feeling good. We got an opening. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm down. When? And I'm like, in 16 minutes. And he's like, I'm there. Give me the link. So we appreciate it, man.
Well, thanks for having me on. Again, I'm sorry I missed Doc. Hope he gets better. And, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to these guys. Great podcast. And I look forward to doing another show with you guys.
Yeah, we
definitely
look forward to having you on again with Doc on, so you guys can go at it. It'll be real fun for us.
Can't wait to watch.
Oh, we'll definitely keep you guys entertained.
Oh, no doubt about that. So.
Again, he's a great guy. So
Doc's the best.
You guys see us on Twitter, jabbing each other. Me, him, and Tim Dog. We'll all,
I don't see Tim Dog. He blocked me so long ago because I dared to not agree with his thing. So I see the Doc and Jay side of it. I don't see anybody else. All those guys, I crap and all of them, they block me. So I never see what's going on over there. I'm the nice guy. I don't know why they block me. I'm the nice guy, but whatever.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah.
So Jay, you got anything left to say? What's your Twitter handle again? One more time. I
you guys can find it
wrong.
JDubCity16 on Twitter. I'm always there, with the memes and the gifs, starting stuff and sitting back and eating popcorn, watching the drama unfold. So I'll probably do that in another 10 minutes. So prepare. This is my time. It's PSX time. It's Kratos time to shine. So yes, I'm gonna slap my fanboy hat on and go at it. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you guys, go out, buy the X, go out, buy the PlayStation Pro and the Slim, get VR. Last night on Bra's podcast, the original NLG, he won a PlayStation VR on there. So
nice.
That made his day. So
again,
it's a perfect time to be a gamer, man. No lack of content.
And the deals right now are just insane. I mean,
the new $199.
Yeah, you can get the PSVR next week for $199.
And the Pro for $350. That's insanity.
$350.
Yeah,
crazy.
Unbelievable.
One thing I'll say is Jay will say that he likes to, talk shit and back off and have fun with it. He's also he stirs the pot, but he's also one of the nicest guys I interact with on Twitter. He's always he pokes fun at things, but he's a gamer through and through. But he's always willing to give back as well. He's always Santa Kratos and all that. And he was one of the first people, if not the first person, when they Sean Hunter put up the secrets GoFundMe for my son. Jay was one of the first guys. So I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more. Thank you for that. But he's a good dude, so everybody should follow him. So
yeah, do it. Find him on Twitter. Find Brandon on Twitter at bmurphy28.
Yep.
Definitely.
Find me on Twitter, I guess, at a.bear. You can hear me complain about how terrible politics are these days.
Do you?
No, I just get mad.
Because I would unfollow you if you were. Yeah. I don't want to talk about
I tweeted
politics.
about it today. I said something like how I don't tweet about it because it's
good.
Anyway, this
good
is
call.
Uninteresting. It's been great to be here on Mega Man 11 Talk About Day. It's been fun having Jay on. It's been fun having Brandon on. We miss Doc.
Thanks.
Wish him the best.
Stop getting sick. Good
Stop
God.
getting sick.
Jesus.
Take some vitamin C.
My
Doc,
God.
okay.
Drink your milk.
We love you, Doc. And thank you guys all for joining us and talking in the chat. We're sorry we didn't get to you much. We had a lot to go over today, and we didn't get to all of it. So
Per usual.
find us on Twitter, and we'll talk to you all about all the things we missed. Thank you guys. Have a good week. See you next week.